So, I get that Mother was a giant, which makes me part giant and part god.
And part mortal.
Right. I guess there's just one thing I don't understand. My name on the wall. The giants called me... Loki?
What?
Loki. That's the name your mother wanted for you when you were born. She must have called you that to her people.
But why?
A question for another day. Let us go home.
I don't like that. I don't think I like that at all. Was there still more to do? Last wish. We spread the ashes, boy. Dude, I was really looking forward to Ragnarok including Loki in some way, like how he was supposed to be in Old Norse.
Be with her kind? But did she know it was gonna be like this here? Is this what she wanted us to see? Did she want us to tell the people, or keep it a secret?
I do not know.
So what should we do?
This is cool,
I trust you to decide that.
Oh. So, why'd you want to name me Atreus? I know it can't be for a god.
No. He was a soldier. A Spartan.
A great warrior?
All Spartans are great warriors. We trained from birth. Our lives were discipline, duty, battle, and death. Life was grim, and we greeted it grimly. But Atreus of Sparta was unlike the rest of us. He wore a smile even in the worst of times. He was happy.
I wonder if we'll see Atreus in other games.
Us to hope that though we were machines
in the
of
old
war,
ones,
yet there was humanity in us. Goodness. When the day came for him to lay down his life in battle, his sacrifice saved countless others and turned the tide in our favor. I carried him home on his shield and buried him with all the honors of Spartan custom. His memory was a comfort in dark times.
Wow, you actually told a good story.
Yeah.
We missed it.
This is a really neat way to do credits, but also it prevents me from talking about the game. I was really looking forward to seeing a Norse-accurate Loki, because Marvel obviously does it very wrong, and that's my only other interaction with Norse mythology. And I was thinking, like, oh, I wonder if he'll show up in this game, or maybe they're saving him for Ragnarok if he's gonna do really cool stuff. And then they're like, yeah, no, we're just gonna, like, he's not gonna be Odin's brother, which is what he's supposed to be in Old Norse, and, like, do all of his crazy stuff. We're just gonna, like, make him Atreus or whatever. That's kind of lame. I think that's kind of lame. I'm, like, really disappointed that we're not gonna see any actual Loki stuff in any of the God of War games. Why can no one ever just do, like, Norse mythology accurate Loki? Why does he always get changed so much every time he shows up? I don't think Loki is Odin's brother. I thought that I had been told that before. Wasn't it that Thor and Loki aren't actually brothers, like Loki was supposed to be Odin's brother or something? Where are you, boy? Come along.
I understand if you want to go home, but maybe helping people is part of why Mom sent us out here, too. I mean, what would Atreus of Sparta do?
And what would Loki do?
Huh. That's a weird name. I'm glad we went with yours.
Whatever the actual, like, Norse-accurate Loki is supposed to be, I'm a little disappointed that Atreus isn't, like, his own character, and that they're not doing Loki in some other way as, like, an enemy, or even maybe a potential ally like how Freya was. Especially because he's, like, the trickster god. That could have been so fun to see play out in God of War Ragnarok or something, so I'm pretty...
I've reached my limit for dwarven charm.
I'm a little disappointed in that.
They took an uncomfortable number of measurements and then proceeded to bicker about the weather.
Where do you want us to take you?
How about the warm confines of anywhere bloody else?
Explore with Atreus. Continue exploring, complete Dwarven favors, free dragons, travel to Muspelheim and Niflheim, find new items in the shop to get powerful equipment that will allow you to defeat all the legendary corrupted Valkyries. I've done that. New Game Plus allows you to start the game while maintaining your equipment experience, yada yada. Okay. So that's just the end of the game then. We don't get like an actual credit scroll. Like that's it. Alright, well, I guess we're done with God of War, right? Like, that's that? I definitely underestimated how long the lead-up you had left to the final boss was, by the way. Yeah, I think, definitely I should have finished this last stream. We've only been going for, like, an hour. Let's go back to Midgard real quick.
Before we return to Midgard, I should warn you. More time has passed than you likely realize. The snowfall that began when you slew Baldur has become something else. The stuff of omens.
For the coming of winter.
Not just any winter, but a great winter to span 3 summers. And when it's done, Ragnarok begins.
Ragnarok. From snow.
Aye, snow. Lots more snow. And then the end of the bloody world. In that approximate order.
Another prophecy.
No, brother. Prophecy doesn't expect this for 100 more winters at least. You've changed something. Prophecy didn't count on you.
Chat is telling me I need to go to the house before I end the playthrough, so we will do that. I'm Googling it. The first answer I found, by the way, about Loki is that Loki is, like, a giant. And he was whatever a sworn brother is, but he was like a sworn brother of Odin, Odin the Allfather. So, from what I just found from a quick Google search, which I didn't look very deeply into, admittedly, it says that, like, Loki is not the adopted son of Odin in actual Norse mythology. They aren't blood related, but they considered each other brothers, which is what I heard, and what I thought was correct.
Feel it in my scrope. This is the big one.
Stop saying that. Oh, you're making me very nervous. It was bound to snow sooner or later.
That ain't just snow, and you know it. It's the end times.
How dare you make me the voice of reason?
Guys?
Just discussing the weather. Bit of a cold snap lately.
What he means is, Fimbulwinter's upon us, boys. The winter to end all winters. I can feel it in my scrope.
Yeah. We heard.
So, if you're heading home, try to keep moving. And also, to not die.
Or if you're not heading home, same advice.
Thanks, Brock. Wait a minute, can I, like, fast travel back to the house? Unless the game's gonna tell me, like, hey, don't do that. That's not allowed. Home. How far is the house? A hop and a skip away when you can fast travel.
Brothers, there's another thing I must let you know. From the time you were away in Jotunheim.
Well, tell us then.
It concerns Freya. She paid me a visit.
What did you tell her?
What little I know about where Odin may have kept her Valkyrie wings. Seems she's rather bent on reclaiming her warrior spirit. I'm afraid the cycle of vengeance may not be so easily broken.
Ooh, we're gonna have to fight Freya in Ragnarok. Now that I'm looking forward to. While we were in Jotunheim, Freya found Mimir to ask where Odin might have kept her warrior spirit. That's a little scary. Oh, I can't wait for that. That sounds sick.
We're finally home. Feels like a lifetime ago.
Bit drafty, maybe. It's a right improvement over having tree bark in your Tadger.
Honey, I'm home.
Time to rest.
I'm gonna sleep through winter.
All right.
Okay, this.
just dropped the axe.
Sleep.
Way ahead of you.
Where'd you put Mimir down? Are you laying on him right now? Years later?
What was that?
The ball.
I think Thor's here. Yo, that's sick. I've seen that cutscene before, but I thought that that was in a trailer for Ragnarok. I didn't know that was the end of this game. That little bit at the end was really good. That was a really good way to wrap up right there with Thor just showing up. The years later thing was a little shocking. Ah, I made a pun. All right, now we get like an actual credit scroll. Okay, cool, cool. So there you go, God of War. Really good game. Really good game. I had a good time. I very much look forward to Ragnarok. Dude, I really can't wait for Ragnarok because, like, Modi and Magni were, like, neat bosses and Baldur was cool for sure. But, like, I still think, like, the coolest boss in the game was the dragon because that was just amazing and fantastical. And I don't know what I was really expecting for the final boss to be. Like, I was kind of thinking, like, maybe it would be Baldur. I thought something else would come up other than just Baldur. They did add in Freya to have, like, the giant's body moving around, which was cool, but I don't know what I expected. I just guess I expected something a little more out of the final boss, especially after fighting the Valkyrie. The Valkyrie was sick. But I don't know. I guess they give you the dragon as, like, what, the second boss in the game or something? And that was, like, so, like, big and fantastical. And I was like, yeah, you're gonna have some other smaller fights, like with Magni and Modi, where it's not to, like, that scale, really, because you're just a god fighting another god, which are human-looking dudes. And those were also really good fights. But especially for the final boss, I guess I just really expected something crazy. Which, I mean, Baldur did start to throw around some ice and fire, but I don't know, basically what I really hope for in Ragnarok, because they're gonna have Thor and presumably Odin we're gonna fight, I want, like, big storms and, like, thunderbolts being hurled. Like, I want it to go absolutely wild. Baldur using fire and ice as the final boss was like, yeah, he threw around some fire and ice, but I mean, like, he slammed his fists in the ground and shot up some icicles, and he threw a couple of icicles at you. Like, the Baldur fight wasn't, to me, wasn't as, like, fantastical, even as, like, fighting the Valkyrie Queen, or really any of the other bosses, to be real with you. Like, it was cool, don't get me wrong. It just, like, that Baldur fight to me felt like a mid-game boss, basically, not really a final boss sort of deal. So I hope that presumably the final boss of Ragnarok would be like Thor / Odin, one or the other, depending on what they decide to go that way. But I do really hope that it could just be a bit more, I guess, in that one. So that's my only real takeaway of, like, the ending. I'm a little disappointed in the whole Loki thing, because I was really looking forward to seeing how they would depict Loki as, like, the god of, like, the trickster god, or the, what the heck is he called? He's the, it's not, like, the god of tricks. What is it? They call him a trickster, but he's the god of, like, illusions or something. I don't remember the actual title. Mischief, that's it, thank you. I could not remember the word mischief. He was like the god of mischief, and I really was thinking, like, ooh, I wonder if Loki will be in this game, or if, like, he's gonna show up in Ragnarok or whatever. And, like, you know, the whole thing with Atreus is, like, I don't know. I think Atreus, like, I don't love Atreus. I think Atreus is, like, he's a good character for what he is. Like, he serves his role very well, and I think he's neat. He's not gonna be, like, one of my favorite characters in gaming or anything. But he was cool for what he was, and, like, he fit his role in the game. But, like, I did like the idea of Atreus kind of just, like, being removed from the whole deal. Like, oh yeah, he's the son of a god and a giant, but he's, like, he's not from Mythology or anything. He's just his own dude, and that's gonna be like kind of what throws in the wrench in the works, and like he's not accounted for in the mythology and all that because he's unrelated to it all. But now instead it's like, oh no, we've like retuned Loki to be Atreus, which I don't know, it'll probably be fine like the way they do it, but I definitely feel like I'm always going to, I don't know, maybe they'll prove me wrong in Ragnarok. I'm more than open to them proving me wrong. If they do, then awesome, that's great. But I really think that it's gonna end up, I'm gonna always feel a little disappointed that we didn't get like a legit Loki in this franchise as a result. But I guess we'll see how that plays out when Ragnarok comes out in a couple of weeks. Yeah. I think that's really all I have, like, kind of, like, negative on the game by the end of it. The game is a tad shorter than I thought it would be, but also, like, it had plenty for it, and it lasted long enough. It took me about 30 hours. I beat the game in about 30 hours, I think. That's a really good time. Hopefully Ragnarok is even longer, but we'll see. But, yeah, otherwise, the game was pretty fun. There were some annoying enemies here and there. Like, I really don't like the blind effect in this game. The blind effect in this game is just, like, insanely unfun. Anytime an enemy inflicts blind on me, whether it was the Valkyrie Queen, or whether it was the random, Dark Elf dudes and whatnot, no matter who it was, like, every time I was hit with blindness, I was like, oh, hey, the game is gonna stop being fun for, like, the next 15 seconds. I'm waiting to see how they handle the Loki reveal in Ragnarok before giving full judgment, but I feel you there. I would have loved an actual Loki instead. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, if the game proves me wrong and they do really good with the whole Loki thing, then, like, cool, maybe they'll change my mind, but I don't know. Obviously, like, my only real exposure to Norse mythology is Loki from Marvel, and then also just, like, some tidbits here and there that I've heard over the years. But, like, I'm, like, you know, god of mischief, trickery, etc. That really speaks to me. I'm super interested in that kind of thing. That sounds super cool, and Loki, mythologically, just sounds really awesome. So now to know that in Ragnarok, like, oh, dude, you're not gonna get, like, we're not gonna do, like, any trickster god stuff like Loki sneaking around, being sneaky and all that stuff because Loki is Atreus in this game, which that's a bit of a letdown that there's, like, no shot, really, of us getting something like that, which is unfortunate. But, you know, again, we'll play Ragnarok, and we'll see. We'll see how it all pans out. Another thing that I wasn't a huge fan of is the way that they spread the Valkyries throughout the game. The first Valkyrie I ran into, I was horribly underleveled for, and it was just like, it destroys you no matter what because it kills you in, like, 2 or 3 hits. So either play perfectly or come back when you stat up a little bit. So I went and I got better stats, and then when I found every other Valkyrie in the game, they killed me maybe once or twice. I feel like outside of the Alfheim Valkyrie that I found first, every other Valkyrie I encountered, I killed, like, within 10 minutes. Like, they killed me once, maybe twice, and then I destroyed them. So that was a little, you know, the Valkyrie fights were really cool and fun overall, but because it's so random on when you can encounter them and the game doesn't really give you, like, an exact on, like, where you should be level-wise to be fighting them and all that, it kind of made some of them, like, really easy. So the Queen Valkyrie fight was really fun. I think that took me, like, half an hour, give or take. Other than the blinding, that was really fun. I'm still not a fan of the insta-stab move, but I talked about that when I finished that, whatchamacallit, when I finished that fight. The insta-stab's still annoying, but, like, you know, that, at the end of the day, I can overlook it, but, like, the blinding thing was stupid. But the Valkyrie Queen fight was definitely, like, the most, learnable and probably the most overall enjoyable fight in the game, I would say. But, yeah. Overall, everything else about God of War Ragnarok, really great stuff. Kratos and Atreus are really cool and interesting characters. I don't think that, you know, definitely my favorite character in the game is Mimir. Mimir is just so great, like, all the time. Mimir is fantastic. I love him. Sindri was really good. I loved Sindri. Brock was fine. Wasn't really to my personal taste, but he was cool. Yeah, all of the characters in the game were pretty good, but also at the same time, like, for me personally, Like, none of the characters really stood out enough, and maybe it's in part because of the length of the game not being as long as, like, the usual kind of, like, usually when I play games, they're JRPGs, which are basically anime in video game form that go for around 80 hours, give or take. But, I pretty much liked all of the characters in the game to varying degrees, although, again, I wouldn't really put any of the characters in this game as, like, some of my favorite in gaming, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is Horizon Zero Dawn. Like, if I had to pick between Kratos and Aloy, I'm taking Aloy. Aloy also has the benefit of I've played 2 of her games because she has 2 of them. And Kratos still, well, Kratos has like 5, actually, but I've only played 1 of Kratos's. But, overall, still really good characters. Really good game. God of War, just really fantastic. Like, very little to complain about overall. I still hate Travelers. Travelers still suck. They are bad. Well, they got fine when I got closer leveled on them. But that one Traveler in that one room where you have almost no time to dodge, awful. Hated that guy. Hated him a lot. But, yeah, I think that's, I don't really have anything else to say. I'd give the game, like, I want to say like an 8.5 out of 10, maybe a 9 out of 10. Which is like really, really good. I'm kind of thinking about it. I don't think God of War hits my top 10 games. Maybe Ragnarok will, depending on how much they expand upon it. But, yeah, I don't think God of War would hit my top 10 games, but it wouldn't be far off. It would be up there for sure. Top 50 games easily. It's probably definitely in a top 30, maybe even a top 20. It'd probably be in a top 20 games, I would say. Which I've played a lot of video games. Like, I have played a ton of video games. Like, a lot. So, you know, that's by no means anything to sneeze at. But yeah, I don't think I really have anything else to say. Does anyone know how much longer these credits last? Surely there's nothing at the end of these credits, right? Because, like, that bit with Thor being at the entrance and, like, his hammer showing up, they can't show anything better than that at the end of the credits. Like, there's no way. There's just no shot. Nothing else if I remember right. Someone mentioned there was something, but I can't prove that. These credits are 30 minutes long. Why do game developers not respect gamers' times? You get 10 minutes max for your credits. If your credits take longer than 10 minutes, then you don't respect my time. Why would I respect your credits? Like, come on now. I have different stuff to do. I'm just joking, by the way. Don't do that. Don't lie to answer a question when I ask a legit question like that. Do not do that in my chat. Like, you can make jokes or whatever if you want, but, like, don't, when I ask, like, hey, how long are the credits? Don't say, like, oh, they're an hour. Like, come on. Budokai, thank you for the cheer. Greatly appreciated. Thank you for the support, man. So does anyone actually know how long the credits are, and can I just skip them? Oh, I hit X once and it skipped it. Hey, it's present day.
Atreus, are you ready?
Yeah, but I had the weirdest dream.
Was it Thor?
The winter was ending, and Thor came for us.
Yeah.
Here at the house.
It was only a dream.
But it
Until
felt
the sequel.
different. It felt real. It felt like the future.
Then we will worry about it tomorrow. Today, there are still things we can do. Come.
Open the door and Thor's there. True final boss begins. Okay, now I think we're good and done with the game. That should be it. Alright, this will be fun for me to platinum on my own time while I wait for Ragnarok to come out. But, yeah, good stuff. Overall, God of War, really good game. I really look forward to Ragnarok. And I'll be playing it day of release, of course, when it comes out. So, fun times. Fun times. For those of you who watched on YouTube or Twitch, greatly appreciated. Thank you for joining me on this journey with boy and father. And I'll hopefully see you again for other playthroughs, but also especially for God of War Ragnarok when it releases on November 9th. I will be streaming that day of release, and I'll be sure to upload at least the first 3, if probably not like the first 6 videos, onto YouTube the very following day, so November 10th. But, yeah. If you want to try and catch my streams live, God of War or otherwise, link in the description to my Twitch channel. For those of you watching on YouTube, I'd love to see you there. Or keep watching on YouTube. I appreciate your support either way. And until next time, farewell.